Someone posted an r/Dodge 3 weeks ago, and the comments section turned into a war. The post was simple: a photo of a brand new 2024 Ram 1500 with the caption, "Just found out my new truck doesn't have a HEMI. Nobody at the dealership told me. What did I actually buy?" Within 6 hours, the post had 1,200 comments. Dodge owners, former Dodge owners, mechanics, and people who had never owned a Dodge in their life, all piling in with the same reaction: disbelief, anger, and a lot of people asking the same question: why did they kill it, and what exactly did they replace it with? Today, we are answering both of those questions honestly, because the official answer from Stellantis is a carefully worded piece of corporate communications, and the real answer is something entirely different. The HEMI Phi 8 has been in continuous production in one form or another since 1951. The modern 5.7-liter version that most people know launched in 2003 and went into the Ram 1500, the Dodge Durango, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Challenger, and the Charger. It was not a perfect engine. It had its own issues, including the MDS cylinder deactivation problems that mirror what GM did with AFM, but it was a known quantity. Mechanics understood it. Parts were everywhere. A competent independent shop could rebuild one from scratch. It was an engine that rewarded ownership over time rather than punishing it. Stellantis killed it after the 2023 model year. The official reason given to the press was emissions, compliance, and fuel economy targets. The HEMI, in its naturally aspirated form, could not meet the incoming federal emission standards without significant and expensive redesign. Rather than invest in that redesign, Stellantis made a different decision. They replaced the 5.7 HEMI in the Ram 1500 with the Hurricane engine, a twin turbocharged 3.0-liter inline six-cylinder. Let that sink in for a moment. They replaced a 5.7-liter naturally aspirated VAW-8 with a 3.0-liter turbocharged 6, half the displacement. 2 turbochargers bolted onto an engine going into a work truck that will spend its life towing, hauling, idling in heat, and accumulating miles in conditions that are hard on every component under the hood. Now let us talk about what the Hurricane actually is. On paper, the numbers look competitive. The standard output version produces 420 horsepower and 469 pound-feet of torque. The high output version produces 500 horsepower and 560 pound-feet of torque. Those are impressive numbers. Stellantis marketing made sure you heard them. What Stellantis marketing did not make sure you heard is how those numbers are produced and what producing them costs the engine over time. Turbochargers operate at extreme temperatures and extreme rotational speeds. The turbine shaft in a modern turbocharger spins at speeds between 100,000 and 200,000 revolutions per minute. It is cooled and lubricated entirely by engine oil. When you shut a turbocharged engine down after hard use, heat soak occurs. The oil in the turbocharger bearing housing stops circulating. It sits in contact with a component that is still radiating enormous heat. That oil cooks. It carbonizes. It forms deposits on the bearing surfaces. Over time, those deposits restrict oil flow to the bearings. The bearings wear. The shaft develops play. The turbocharger fails. This is not a theoretical problem. This is the documented failure mode of every turbocharged engine ever put into a work vehicle application. The harder the vehicle works, the faster it happens. A Ram 1500 that spends its life towing a fifth wheel or hauling equipment in summer heat is going to put those turbochargers under conditions that a European luxury sedan with the same engine configuration never sees. A single turbocharger Replacement on the Hurricane engine runs between $1,500 and $2,500 in parts alone at current pricing. The Hurricane has two of them. When they fail, and the documented pattern from early Hurricane-equipped vehicles suggests they will fail earlier than Stellantis wants to discuss publicly, you are looking at a $4,000 to $6,000 repair on top of whatever other damage the failure caused to surrounding components. Compare that to the 5.7 HEMI. A HEMI that needs a valve train service or even a short block replacement is a known cost that independent mechanics handle routinely. Parts are available everywhere. Labor is straightforward. The engine does not have two spinning assemblies running at 150,000 revolutions per minute that the entire system depends on for its power output. There is also the question of longevity data. The 5.7 HEMI has 20 years of real-world high-mileage data behind it. There are documented examples of well-maintained HEMIs, crossing 300,000 miles, some pushing further. The Hurricane has been in mass production in the Ram 1500 since the 2024 model year. There is no long-term reliability data because the engine has not existed long enough to produce any. You are buying a brand new powertrain architecture installed in a work truck and trusting that Stellantis engineered it correctly the first time. Given their track record with the MDIS system, the ZF 8-speed transmission failures, and the documented DEF system problems on their diesel lineup, that is a significant amount of trust to extend. The reason Dodge killed the HEMI is not complicated. It was not about giving you a better engine. It was about avoiding federal fines under CAFE standards and EPA emissions regulations without spending the money required to bring the HEMI into compliance. The Hurricane allowed them to hit the fuel economy numbers the government requires while spending less on engine development than a HEMI redesign would have cost. You paid for that decision. You are paying for it every month on your truck payment. And in 3 to 5 years, when the Hurricane turbocharger data starts coming in from high-mileage working trucks, you may be paying for it again at your independent shop. The last HEMI rolled off the line in 2023. Find a clean one, because what replaced it is not an upgrade, it is a compromise, and you are the one living with it.